This is one group are singing all the time. The good school. Singing. Hey Thierry. Salut, salut. Ça marche, ça marche, ça marche.
Kan du sätta på mig den, är du snäll?
Yeah. On est avec le magasin du Suède.
Yes, Paletten. Yes, and SITE Zones.
Så, perfekt.
Tack.
So this is like a tutorial.
Exactly. Wow. Working together.
Together.
To get there. Oh.
Sure.
It's very psychoanalytical.
Yeah, well, sophisticated.
Very sophisticated. So Dan, I'm so happy to do this interview with you. Also as a Romanian, you know, we can perhaps speak about, you know, stuff that you normally don't have
That belongs to us.
that belongs to
the
us
rest
and
of the
our
world,
history.
Yeah.
But my first question is, well, in this Documenta, I think there's not so much humor. It's a lack of humor, and your work, I mean, it's really about humor also. Wouldn't you say that?
This is one of the reasons I got invited. That's
think
true.
so? Yeah.
But I think there is a lot. You know, when I was painting that in the lobby in the Fridericianum, and on the right side there's these guys from the good school who are doing this kind of constant workshop 100 days. So they sleep there, they cook, and they made they constantly sing and laugh. No, so there is plenty of humor, but just have to watch carefully, you know, because the atmosphere is very relaxed. There's a kitchen behind the Fridericianum where people hang out all the time, the artists, so they cook. There's meals. If you want to cook for the others, you go there and you do that. If you want to eat, you just put some money and some. So it's a very relaxed atmosphere. I don't know if you remember, you see, there's no competition or, you know, people just enjoy. I think the bad guys are in Basel.
Talking about bad guys, I mean, you started as an artist during communist times. How was it to be an artist back then, when things were not
there was
allowed?
no question about it. You just finish the studies and then you are an artist. No question, you know, there was this one single organization having the galleries, the money, the colors, everything, and you have to belong to that, and you exhibit, and that's it. There was no market, there was, you know, so it was very pyramidal kind of structure. The top, the presidents and this kind of stuff, they got all the grants, they got all the trips, and the rest of us, we just stay home. No, listen, I was part of some groups or some initiative where we were doing, no, I can't say like dissident art or something. There was an attempt to do something you like, and we did it at home, me and my wife. We use our home as a, you know, so I did something and she was the only public, and she did something and I was the only public, and stuff like that, and maybe some friends. So we try to liberate some kind of a space of freedom. Yeah. And you can do that at home or somewhere in the field. And at the time we had no knowledge about installation, land art, performance.
What kind of artworks were you doing?
Well, it was very conservative. No, around me very conservative. Very conservative. And then when I start my career, I studied painting. It's very clear, right?
Yeah.
12 years of academic painting.
Yeah.
You know, I did one of the worst art school in the planet, but I got lucky because I can totally forgot it in like about 3 months. Poof. Because I know some friends of mine who they love their teachers and what and they are still doing that. Yeah. So they could not get out of the.
But did you take any risks back then, before the?
Well, risk
the
was
wall
to in a communist paradise. The risk is to be alive every day. Really, that's the story. It's like keep you alive. how to find food and how to find a book and how to speak with you, not being afraid that somebody here is the informer of the Secret Service. So it was just the pure existence was a problem. Then the art was not. We didn't have this question as the free world had. We had other questions. So I think by instinct, Leah is my partner. We wanted to do something which was different. So whatever it was around us, we didn't like. Even today, I don't like Romanian art.
No?
I like some Romanian artists.
Yeah, yeah.
Like an old woman, she just passed away, Jeta Bratescu, like some young people. But the overall art, no. I'm not like the ex-Yugoslav people, very proud about their past. I'm very ashamed about my past. It was really, really a catastrophe, really.
What kind of things?
The system was really, really bad. And then the people they were to their knees. So then the revolution came, so the freedom came. So for me to be here and talk to you, 1,000 Romanians died. Well, nobody remembers now and nobody cares, but I do. So I'm here, I express free. This is not this is somebody else fought for me and they died. So I will always remember. So these people in their need, they at a certain moment in their existence, they had this courage, enormous courage, to go there in front of guns, and they should. And the other people who killed you were also Romanian, right?
Yeah.
There were no Russians, no aliens, no invaders. No, there was your uncle and your brother, and they shot you. So it was difficult. You asked me how it's to be an artist. After the freedom came, then questions came.
Yeah.
You know, one of my first Documenta I saw was in 1992, this guy here. So we didn't know much about the art history in the Western countries. We know something. So it was like a major shock to see this kind of power of curator and artist and this kind of budgets and whoa, you know.
And the freedom, how was it to be free all of a sudden? You had that as a
like
dissident.
a drug at the beginning.
Like a drug?
A drug, yeah.
A drug,
like a drug, yeah.
Which way?
For like about a year we've been drugged. Yeah? But then when we come here, because there was like 1 million protests on the streets, and democracy didn't just came like that. So you have to, every centimeter or the advancement was in the street fighting. You know? And then when we came back from all this 1 year later, everything was sold. And we remain with the glory. But it was cool.
Yeah.
This passage, the change, it's absolutely unbelievable. So in a sense, our spring, Arab Spring failed, right?
Yeah.
Our spring succeeded. That's why now when the Russian threat is there, the East European...
Can you show it to us?
Just look. This is the very sad Russian army who's like stealing stuff, right? So they don't have basic goods. Can you imagine a 21st century army who are stealing like a bike? Or, because they don't have at home like a sink.
No.
They steal a sink. So when now is this threat, so East European countries, they are responding very strong because they don't want to lose the freedom they just acquire.
Exactly.
With debts and with all this panic, and the transition was very complicated and very tough.
Yeah. And
so that was the moment when I said what I saw in the galleries around me in Romania was really boring because the art could not cope with the events.
No.
So, but the newspaper were fantastic. So for the first time they have freedom of expression. They can print whatever they like. So there was a new newspaper every other 3 days. And people bought like things like that and they all read, So it was, wow. So then I started drawing, publishing newspaper because that was hot and people really look at it. And so that's why my drawing modified. It was modified by this kind of political text around, but this idea. Now we are building the free society.
Yeah.
So I'm still having this kind of energy somewhere.
And how would you describe humor? What is humor?
Your question is pretty humorous. Listen, I don't know. I just have it in me. and the conservative school try to repress it because somehow they think this is not art. But I always have it with me. So now I'm just like playing. I know some of my drawings are more intellectual, more deep, and some are just funny. You know? So I like funny things, I like deep things, so I try to mingle them.
Freud said that the autobahn to the unconscious is a dream, but he also said that humor is like a shortcut.
But I don't have a car. I don't own a car. I'm just like walking.
But
I'm walking to the dream.
That the
I'm in the dream right now.
The joke is a shortcut to the unconscious. Would you agree with that?
Well, I don't know. I think for me, humor is like clay, like a material. Because I know when I make a drawing, I can make it a bit more fun, or I can make it a bit more dark. I try not to make it cynical.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's so easy. You can do something and you can literally hurt somebody without even wanting. And you see today, the discussions are we all seem very free, but we are not, because we cannot literally speak about some stuff because it might go wrong. So you have to...
So how do you navigate through these cultural wars that we have?
Well, I try to not having just one statement about a topic, but a little like maybe different options to it. And because I'm in a public space here, I select the mild version because I can have a more aggressive version that I can do that inside the museum or inside the gallery. Right?
Can you give us an example? For example, when you do a more aggressive humoristic work, what kind of stuff do you put in it? For example, in a museum.
So should I really draw about the Russian army?
Yes. You should.
Right, they are doing genocide right now and nobody cares, right?
Yeah.
So I choose to say how sad they are in this situation, no? Because they are obliged because of their life standard to steal and kill.
And what are they stealing, for example?
A washing machine.
Oh,
They just steal goods like, sink and toilets, and they're stealing in their, they're like a middle age now, kind of. That's what they do. Why are you so shocked? It was so visible in media. Yeah. That was the image projected. They are just taking everything from the houses. They bombed first.
My God.
Yeah. They take they kill you, and they take your camera. So that's no. And so I can draw them as monsters, but should I make a service to the Russian maybe living in this town? So I have to put Russian army, not Russian people, right?
Exactly.
So that's taking a little bit control of it's kind of a responsibility of the statement. Because otherwise we can start a new war, against somebody. And I know I'm a Romanian, and at a certain moment Romania behaved really bad, right?
Like when?
Well, immediately after the change of power and the, freedom, the new leaders of Romania, they use one section of the working class, the miners, as a paramilitary force to repress demonstration against them. It's called mineriada, so it's called so they brought these miners from original Romania with the trains in Bucharest, and they beat us to death.
Ceausescu did that.
No, Iliescu.
Iliescu did that.
Yeah, the new democratic power did that.
Oh yeah.
So you have these guys coming from black, from the dark, put in trains, brought to Bucharest, and they beat everybody with beard or jeans because they were intellectuals.
Yeah.
So then I went in shows, and I'm coming from Romania, from those guys, representing those guys, right? So I can understand now a Russian saying, well, that's not my country, and that's not my government. I'm different. I'm a part of Romania, or they part of another kind of Russia, right? And now you can even don't address that, because there might be some Ukrainian now in town, and Ukrainian, they are living a moment without nuances, because their family are dead. So they don't accept this sophisticated, say, fuck them, stop them now. And so that's the story with this kind of statement. You have to a little balance if possible, right?
You made a drawing at Documenta in the entrance hall, where you also put the, how do you call it, column of eternity of
Well, it's not
Brancusi.
in the hall, it's on the column.
On the column, exactly.
So it's a column on a column.
On a column, which was very funny, because it's eternity, where we were seeking for eternity,
Yes.
but then in a German context, it's impossible.
Brancusi who think that.
Yes.
And it's the
But-
symbol, they call it in Romania the spine of the Romanian people, you know, the
Yeah.
endless call, blah, 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 because we absolutely don't understand that monument, that project.
No?
People that have absolutely no idea what's represent. They know that it's important because people come to see it, but they don't know how to deal with it. So that's the bungee jumping, because the meaning of that column is constantly ups and down, you know.
And what do you think about time? Are your jokes a kind of time capsule,
They are
or
not
are they
jokes.
also? No, you're not.
No, these are not jokes. That's humor.
It's
It's
humor.
different.
What's the
Jokes
difference?
is like when you do a joke and you are laughing to that and that's it. It's
Yes.
like no. So these are not jokes. These are drawings, and these are articles in. This is why it's called newspaper.
Because we did take risks when we were queuing in Romania. People were telling jokes. It was a way of risking their
They
lives
don't.
in the queue.
Yeah,
Do
that's
they
your
still-
fantasy. Nobody
No?
did a joke on the queue because they are afraid that the next guy was a secret informant.
I saw it once.
Maybe.
And I saw two guys taking him and left with him. And
well,
I
I
thought, like,
didn't
I would
saw
never.
that, but the people were not. They say jokes at home.
Yes, that's true.
In private,
Yeah,
not
that's-
in public space. Public space was totally controlled, and
Yeah.
everybody was afraid.
Yeah. And
So
are
this
people
is fantasy.
Still...
This is like fake news. Don't consider that. That's not true.
It was a child
No,
fantasy.
that's not true. It's a constructive memory. This didn't
It's possible.
exist.
It's possible. Yeah. But are they still telling jokes in Romania nowadays?
Well, they do, and as any other culture do. And there is a moment when the tragedy become a joke. And it's an liberating moment, but in the same time, it's the same sad now, because there's jokes about this conflict, Ukraine, Russia, coming in.
Really?
And this is the moment when this can be like a way to detach from the very heaviness of the situation, or it can be a moment where you simply don't care and you just mock because you are not there being killed. So it's the same with the jokes. Some of the jokes in the communist time were designed by the Secret Service in such a way that the dictator, because there's this joke like the president of Romania, president of the US, and president of Germany coming together, right? We've never been on that level, but the joke put the president on that level, and somehow even if you mock him, he's kind of in a smart situation. So they are specifically designed, so don't think these are the genius of the people around makes jokes. No, some of them are built.
Yeah.
So they serve a type of propaganda which is infiltrating, you know. So yeah, jokes are coming in. We still do jokes. Romania is a little bit too mocking.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the character of my people, and maybe this is good on the long run, because we are not doing now very bad stuff and we are not doing good stuff. So we are mediocre, which is okay today. Because, you know, look at Hungary, look at other countries which were like the champions of freedom, and now they totally collapse into some kind of disguised dictatorship. So I think my people have this is a quality, but also how it's called? I don't know the opposite of quality. It's a kind of a disaster in the future, because we are really mocking and making jokes of our everything, and then nothing is serious.
So it's also a defense mechanism.
No,
Not
I think it's
taking
laziness.
anything seriously.
Instead of like really doing something, they do a joke, and they're just mocking. You do something, and they go, yeah, but Paletten could be like that. You know what I mean? Fuck you! Just do something better if you can. You know. So I think there's a way. Maybe it's this Latin part of the people more. You know, more kind of. Because we are a combination between Istanbul and Budapest and, you know, Moscow. That's a kind of actually it's quite interesting.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
German, Hungarian, Roma people. In the south we have Turkish, and then we have, you know, in the Danube Delta area like Russian people, and so it's, you know. By the way, we are neighboring Ukraine. You know, long part of our border is
Yeah.
Ukraine. We
And
knew nothing
how-
about.
How hospital?
So now we learn the geography of Ukraine by bombing, by the Russian bombing.
And
So
Romanians are becoming are in hospitality, because it was not so much the case before. Romania was like a doormat. Everyone was wiping their shoes on Romania before entering Europe. I mean, it has been colonized.
Well,
in a
my
lot of
father
countries.
comes from Chernobyl, so she
Yeah?
was the first line of refugees in '44 when the Russian army came, right? So Romania hosts a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So my family is from where they are refugiating right now again,
Wow.
from the same reason. And then Romania was host for the Greek communists when they got repressed in Greece. So no, we are hosting a lot of people during history. It's just the appearance that we don't, and it's just a passage country. No, there's a lot of Armenian in Romania. There were a lot of Jews, right?
Yeah.
Like Transylvania was 80% German, right?
Yeah.
So now before the Ukrainian, there's a lot of Afghan or Syrian people, and some of them are stuck on the western border because they want to go further, but some will stay. You know, the guy who is the major running the Medicare in Romania right now, it's Arab, Mr. Arafat, because he studied in Romania in the communist time, no? And then he married and he stayed, right? So if you look carefully, it's much more complex than it shows. You know, of course, you have this feeling, and this is also. How to say it, the Romanian propaganda says that nobody wants to stay in Romania. Of course, it's a poor country, you don't have much possibilities, but still compared from where these people are coming, it's pretty okay, you know. I mean, if you want to ask me, we are racist, we are.
We are, yeah.
We are, but we might not be violently racist. It's just a language or, you know, kind of mockery. But when it's to be really bad, no. They are not racist-related killings.
No, of course.
More, you know, so if you compare with other countries, no.
And what do you think about people like Zizek, who says that we should do racist jokes because it's a way of creating a common ground?
I don't think about Mr. Zizek at all.
No? No, so you're not on...
That's your God, not mine. No, because I think all these smart people like Chomsky, like everybody. So how can you help Ukrainians sending Chomsky books? No, you have to send them guns. And the same with Mr. Zizek, she was like, Trump is good because he'll fuck the system. No, it was a catastrophe in America and in the rest of the planet.
You're right. Actually.
And all these people who are very angry on capitalism, they all publish books in America, right? No?
Yeah.
So, like capitalists who fail, but after I get the money, you know, after I get my fees. So no, I'm not with Mr. Zizek at all.
No, he's a neoliberal Stalinist.
No, it's not like that. I'm not joking.
No, you're not joking. You're serious about that
I'm serious because all these people in the left use it as an icon, and I don't agree with this icon.
But what about transgression and the need of a law and a barrier? When the barriers fell with...
Of what?
Barriers, against what you're supposed to criticize and not. When those barriers fell in communist Romania,
what barriers? What barriers?
But you didn't lose your life if you're doing critical work anymore in Romania nowadays, or do you?
No. But what's the problem? Should I lose my life in order to criticize?
No. But I think that transgression, it's a different.
Relax.
Level.
Don't put me transgression. No. What do you want to ask me?
The question is, would you say that it's more difficult to be critical today than it was before? Because
it's always difficult to be critical.
Yeah.
Always, in any kind of society,
Yeah.
And sometimes these people you mentioned, they are just critical.
Yeah.
Mr. Varoufakis is like a star. Where is Greece? I don't want to reproach. I think they are brilliant intellectuals, good for them. But I think there's a level of discourse and there's a level of practicality, and people live in practicality, right?
Yeah.
Simple, So I don't have this question.
No?
I just put what I have to do, and I do, right? And I exercise my freedom because I have it.
And you don't need barriers to exercise your freedom.
What do you mean by barriers?
Like limits to transgress.
I don't understand you here. No, really. Well, this is a limit. Or what? Can I
It's a
say
formal
fuck
image.
German people here? That's
Yeah.
what you mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't need that. I don't need this kind of barriers. No, I know my discourse. I know. I'm for understanding. I'm not for like, telling you what to do or, I can do.
Yeah.
No.
You're right. It can become easily
No.
deductive.
And imagine, like you asked me if I'm comfortable. Like I live in the city of Sibiu, in my hometown, the last 12 years. And my show is on a wall, not in the museum, in a public wall. Yeah. So imagine when you do this kind of drawings in the city where your mom lives with her colleagues, it is a risk.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah,
Because they don't understand and what is doing this stupid son of yours or whatever. But I do it, and somehow I also succeed to convince them that this is something, right?
Yeah. And what are you criticizing there, for example? This is about global warming.
What do you
And
think?
penthouse and homeless and green without touch of
Well, the
black.
ones who have the power ask the other one, what's the carbon print? What's the carbon print? So if you take the carbon print, the most extraordinary country is Cuba.
Yeah.
Is it?
Is it? I don't know. You tell me.
No, artists in Cuba are in jail right now.
Yeah.
So carbon print, okay. Artist freedom, not okay. So that's about that. Because these guys are doing the green, the avant-garde. No, the green, let's do green, let's do green, let's do green. I don't own a car. Do you?
No. I can't even drive.
No. That's it. I don't own a car. I go with the trains. I try to do at least something. So yeah, that's about it. And it's about going both way. Like, I'm in favor of this clean energy and taking care, but I'm also critical about this kind of very obligatory discourse right now. And windmills, they are not very green, or these bikes, which is actually machine to get fat because you do nothing, you just, And these are also not so green and so on and so forth. So I think we can find better solutions, more or less.
And what about this one, Fridericianum? Are you criticizing also Documenta?
Why you say criticizing? Do you think this is all critique here?
Yeah,
Sometimes
I
it's just an illustration of a subject.
I think you are criticizing the system every time you do
No, it's not
something.
criticizing. No. I'm drawing in, and sometimes I'm just illustrating them. I just visualize a situation, right?
Artist, museum, and the artist working for the museum like a slave. Isn't that a critique of the art system?
Not working for the museum, working on the museum.
You're working on the museum.
Yeah, there are two angles, you see?
Where? This?
One angle, my ladder, and another angle from the museum. No?
That's very good. I love that.
Maybe you got me all wrong. Maybe you should stop this. Well, maybe you should just stop. No, yeah, because this is not criticizing. This is like, this is drawings. These are articles. These are my opinions, visualized, visually. And in some I'm more humor, in some I'm just, stress. That's the slogan of today. Don't be stressed. And you're constantly bombarded with that in the world which is based on being stressed. So it's just visualizing it, Yeah.
Can you show us the other ones? What is it? Is this interactive? Yes, I draw.
So this is a critique of myself.
Ah, fantastic.
Finally.
At last.
At last.
So what are you criticizing there?
Well, this is a document about collectiveness, about interaction, about sharing, no? So I'm here alone doing myself, I don't need nobody and stuff. So that's about what kind of interactive is this? Yeah, so it's not. I'm drawing it, and if you get it, it's interactive. If you don't get it, it's not.
And what about this one?
Well, these are me and you, different planets.
Ah, it's a very good illustration of our discussion. I love it.
No, I just think how to be together if we are so into our own world, right? Even probably words we understand differently because you have a different culture around you, I have a different culture around me. We live in different, we may share some stuff, but we also have our own continents, no?
You're right.
So how to put this together?
Exactly, that's a question.
So that's the idea.
It's a very important question. And this one?
Well, this is just the end of pandemic. Like it's the enormous trash we leave behind. No, we just that's it. We just, you know.
It's very nice. I like also the deepness of it.
I
And
got
what about-
one.
what
I
about
got
this
one
one?
right.
You scare me, man. Militarization, saturation.
Listen,
society.
this is the guy who just shot some family, and he's scared by the look of a punk. No? No? Easy.
Citizen, consumer, society.
And the society, which is always, you know, they always rate society about, you know, proportion and, you know, how much on the national internal revenue or whatever. So it's always about money, quantities, you know, but it's not like that. Because it might be a very poor country, but people are very happy, or they have a nice life, maybe with means, and you know, something like that. So I was thinking, and now this is my country. We have to put the money in guns now.
You think so?
Yeah.
Or
No, I think
ironic?
so. This is the reality.
You think Romania should go to war?
Well, you misunderstand me. So, listen. We were put the money into guns because Russia is attacking us. So probably a lot, it's not that I want that, a part of the budget will go to guns right now, because this is the situation. All the east part from Finland to Bulgaria, all that part have to buy tanks. Not markers and not artists. It's not me, this is the situation. Ask the madman in Moscow. You know, 2 years after 2 years of pandemic, we almost collapsed economically, and now all the money will go to guns, because this is the reality. We cannot defend with Zizek, right? No, really. I mean, I'm against it. I'm for peace. I'm against military thinking, but the reality is brutal. So this will be it. In my country, a lot of the independent art scene will collapse. There's no resources. All the money went to refugees right now too. That's it. That's the reality. So we have to be prepared. That's why this situation here.
And what about this one? Give me good news. Responsibility, freedom of expression.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's very interesting. So we should be responsible about the freedom of expression. That's more
Yes.
important than freedom of
Yes, and
expression.
then at the same time, when you have this responsibility, a part of freedom of expression is gone. Yeah.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Yeah. Good. What's
that's good
what's
news?
with the time? How are we with the time?
I think we
We
have
still
some
have-
more minutes, so just see them. Just what about this one? Come, it's important. It's economy stupid.
It's about economy all the time, right?
Yeah.
So it's about the bad oil from Russia, but then good oil from Saudi Arabia. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And the inflation, when you are poor, it doesn't matter, because you already have nothing in your pockets, no? It's just more empty pocket.
Wow.
Yeah. But this will come. This will come. In Romania, the prices are up even here.
Yeah.
So you can see how people are hit. But the simple fact that maybe the coffee is double price, or you know, really, and then you add, and then realize your pension is not enough.
Before we had money but nothing to buy. Now we have nothing, no
that's
money.
true.
A lot of things to buy, but no money.
No, we had not a bad period until the pandemic. It was not so bad in those countries, but then pandemic was brutal, and now, you know. So I don't know what will happen. We'll see.
Let's go. And this one?
Do you know
Speck.
German language?
Yes, ich habe
Speck
Deutsch.
is fat, right?
Speck, ja genau, ich habe
Yeah,
Deutsch
so it's
studiert.
the
So this
speck.
is spectacle.
Is the fat people, the well-fed people who have the show.
Who are interviewing the poor people.
These guys are talking. These guys are listening.
Exactly. The poor are listening, the rich are talking.
Yeah. And then this is the attraction this year. Look.
Venice Biennial, Berlin Biennial, Documenta, Oktoberfest.
See? That's humor.
It's very funny. But you see, I think
Because a lot of the people and a lot of the tribes who comes there will not go there. But there's also intersection. No, people can really enjoy a beer and a this kind of German kind of low kind of party.
Yeah. But you are welcomed everywhere. I mean, you are everywhere. Dan, you have become such an important international star. How would you? Don't you?
I will not define me as a star.
No?
I was
What
doing
would you
this
define yourself as?
20 years.
Yeah.
So I didn't become. I drove my way in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did this everywhere, from Pristina to, you know, all these republics around Romania and inside Romania, in the most remote places where a little artist-run space is kind of. So I try to treat everybody with the same importance. Of course, budgets differ, but sometimes it's more freedom in a more tiny space somewhere than in the middle of, you know. So you can balance.
But has it happened that you have been censored by Western institutions? That
no,
has never
because
happened?
then this will be a little bit complicated, but I will try to explain. So I'm very aware about the fact that if somebody is asking me in Saudi Arabia, I go there, I do my drawing, and I go home, but he stays the curator. So I try to be not to create problems for the staff. So I'm always in this kind of countries where there's issues. I map the issues, which are more hot, and then it's more careful. I touch that issue with more carefulness, so, let's say.
Yeah.
Because just recently we have a problem. Imagine that I was in a show called Europe Reunited or something like that. It was this kind of very official show made in Bonn, and he was supposed to go, I think, Paris, Berlin, something, Moscow. So pandemic, whatever, and they first did it in Moscow, in Tretiakov Museum, and this was European art from 45 till today, and for me, you know, cool, like with everyone. It was probably a kind of decent show, I think, you know. And then the war broke, right? And before the war broke, there was this issue with the Kunsthalle in Berlin. Do you know this scandal? Well, it's the airport, big airport, Tempelhof, who become an art space, but they no consult nobody. They give it to some guy with the money, whatever, and the people try to boycott and protest against it. And the same guy is involved in that show. And I said, well, hey, listen, this is complicated. I want my works down. And they told me, listen, it might be a problem for the Russian curators in Tretiakov if one of the artists will take his works down. So I said, let them down, but if there's a situation with the invasion in Ukraine, then we have to stop the show, and we stopped the show when it was. But this was the decision, because you can, no, I'm the heroic artist, I'm boycotting, paying my work, and then there were e-flux, and I did this, I'm a hero. And then they are losing their jobs. No, so I try, if possible, to protect you. If you invite me.
So there are limits to humor. That's what I was coming to.
Well,
and there should be some limits to humor.
That's true, but not in the sense that I'm showing you now.
Okay,
so that, let's come. And then I have to go. So
Yes.
this is the last one.
Okay.
So here in Documenta, there's one very hot topic, which is anti-Semitism, right?
Exactly.
So the curators were wrongly accused and falsely accused of something they don't do. I was in a million Zoom hour talking with all these people. There's no millimeter of anti-Semitism. There are some artists from some country which have more radical position than me. So this is the elephant in the room we don't speak about, right?
And what do you think about it?
I don't know. You have to think.
Well, I think that we need the discursive platforms to be able to discuss.
Well,
those
in
things
Germany
together.
right now, you can't do it. They try to do it, they cancel it. They have to cancel. So you have to wait until the situation a bit, the tension goes a bit down, and then you can discuss.
Yeah, I think even if it's a Habermasian utopia that we could speak together.
Another name. She dropped another name.
But I think with Chantal Mouffe,
no, this is
agonistic
this is life,
spaces.
man. You try to be very nice to have all this, and
rational discussions.
And this is a very bloody, stupid, extreme right group who don't care at all of Habermas and Chantal Mouffe and nobody, and they say you are a fascist.
Yeah.
And I say, listen, I'm not, because no, but you are,
Yeah.
It's like kids. You are.
So you don't think that
no,
encounters
not now.
are possible?
No, now it's too hot.
Yeah.
So then you have to do it later, and then maybe open up the discussion, not to have just anti-Semitism as a topic or racism, but also introduce, there's a show in Documenta about Cuba, right? All these people were, that's one. Then there's other people with their own problems. So you just have like 10 topics.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you can, I think, talk. I don't know, maybe it doesn't work what I'm saying. I don't know.
No,
but I realize here, anything you say now can be pushed in a wrong direction, so better just go, do your show, it's okay, and then we talk later.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's a time
So we
for
talk later.
talking later. We'll continue the discussion later. Thank you so much, Dan.
I have to go to a lunch business, I'm exhausted now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, cool.
It's amazing, thank you.